Hello people of the web and welcome back to Creators Thoughts. I'm famous for my obsession with tea, godlike gaming skills and my completely false, totally dumb for entertainment only derps. But there's something else you should know about me. I have a pair of bright yellow high-top Converse shoes. So what? We all knew I had an amazing fashion sense. So what's the significance? It's a factoid that will allow me to tell a fun little story, and fun little stories help me make podcast episodes. I have an older brother. He looks a little like me, just slightly less tall, slightly less handsome, slightly less funny, smart, entertaining, etc, etc. Basically, a slightly less awesome version of me. But despite that, he's amazing, my brother, and I love him. We had a trip out together and he commented on my Canary yellow shoes, their vibrancy, and how surprised he was to see my fashion choice. I knew exactly why he found my choice surprising, but I couldn't help but ask why he was so shocked by my selection of footwear. My brother explained that he'd come to expect me to wear more bland and less loud attire. He was right. For most of my life, I opted for quiet clothing and shoes as to not draw attention to myself. The desire to blend into the background was born out of some very critical voices around me when growing up. I spent a lot of my youth being critiqued by those around me, be it about my weight, my musical talents, or even just my choice of socks. I, like most people, didn't enjoy being mocked, and learnt the best way to avoid this unwanted review was to not do anything and to avoid being noticed. This caused me to shy away from attempting new things. Not doing things meant no one could tell me that I'm doing it wrong. This fear of being judged is why my brother learnt to expect me in dark t-shirts, plain jeans, and footwear less vivid than Canary high tops. For many years, this caused me to avoid exploring my interests and resist my gorgeous shoes. Each time I discovered an activity I longed to do and explore, I shot the idea down, but mourned for the lost dream. The list of abandoned dreams grew and grew until eventually I realised I didn't want to do this anymore. My default avoidance is hardwired in how I am, but I've made an effort to be conscious of it and do what I can to push past it. One of the first initiatives I made to break out was that I would no longer buy all black and unassuming trainers. It's taken years of pushing my limits and there is still plenty to do, but I feel incredibly proud of what I've achieved. My little pushes are to thank for everything I've achieved in my career creating content, and so many things outside content creation too. If I was still as locked down and keen on not putting myself out there and risking rejection, my life would be completely different. I've known Mrs. Dragon for over 20 years, always known her to be amazing, but my fear of putting myself out there would have stopped me from considering pursuing her. My growth made it possible for me to talk to, ask out, and even propose to. And now I have the most awesome person I know as my wife and am able to share my life with her. In many ways, thanks to the small step of vowing against plain black trainers. That's my story, and I have 2 questions for you. Have you ever felt yourself being held back by fears and what others might think? And the second question, do you have a pair of loud shoes? Vibrancy, not clown shoes with horns under each ankle. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye now.